Tom Watson once said that if he could go back and do it all over again from the start of his career, the thing that he would work on is maintaining good spine angle throughout his whole swing. Now, I see so many golfers fall into this trap where they lose spine angles, their shoulders don't turn on the right tilts, they ultimately just get in a bit of a mess, and ultimately from there it's very, very hard to be consistent. So if you are that golfer that when you look at your swing, you see yourself stand up out of posture in the backswing, the shoulders turn too level, or maybe you collapse down too much in the backswing. Maybe you're seeing from the front of you your head sway off or your head go towards the target. In the downswing, potentially you're getting stuck under, your shoulders are getting way too steep this way, or you're coming over way too flat and you don't have enough shoulder tilt. If you are any of these things, then you need to watch today's video, because I guarantee you this simple concept is going to transform your swing. So here's the thing, if golf was played kind of like baseball and at shoulder height, we would very much just swing around ourselves and around ourselves. Now the key thing is, as I'm doing this motion, you can see my shoulders are turning perpendicular to my spine. If I just hold this line, or this golf club here, you can see my shoulders are turning perpendicular to my spine. However, golf is not played at this height, as we all know. It is played on the ground. So as a result, we have to set up with some what we class as forward bend. Now, if we put a number out there, tour average is around 30 degrees of forward bend. Some players a little bit more, some players a little bit less. But let's just say you are tilted forwards 30 degrees. This now means that we need to turn and continue to keep those shoulders turning perpendicular to the spine. That therefore means we have to have, let's just ballpark say, about 30 degrees of shoulder tilt at the top of the backswing. It might be more, it might be less, depending on who you are, what club you're using. But we need to maintain these good tilts in our swing. Now let's just break down actually what's happening as we move throughout the golf swing. So at address, we are starting in what we class as forward bend. Essentially that is me just bending forwards. Now, what we are then doing in the backswing is we are going from what we class as forward bend into what we class as left bend. So left bend is literally where I just drop my left shoulder straight down. Another way of thinking of it, imagine you've got like a really heavy dumbbell in your left hand, you just allow it to pull you down to the left. So if I just simply stand tall and turn, and then drop my left shoulder into left bend, you can see how this is in a very, very good position right here. Now, notice my head. If I'm in this position here and I don't add any left bend and I just stay in forward bend as I turn, firstly you can see my head swayed off massively, and secondly my shoulders are super flat. Versus if I add this left bend in as I turn, and it's a gradual thing, I'm not just maxing it out, I'm just gradually turning and adding left bend. Does my head stay pretty centered? Yes, it does. Also, from the downline view, you can see how this gives me some great tilt to the shoulders, which is going to set me up beautifully for some great arm structure at the top of the backswing. Now, from there, once we've done that, so we've established we start in forward bend, we move into left bend. What about the downswing? What happens in the downswing? Well, we sort of undo that process, so we go from left bend back to forward bend and into right bend. So right bend is the opposite of left bend. We drop our right shoulder down. So the golf swing is forward bend. As we turn, we move into left bend. As we shift, we move back into forward bend and then go into right bend, as you can see there. Now, as we do all of these motions, I am able to keep my body in its tilts. As I do this, you can see my shoulders are staying in a great tilt. Now this makes so much more sense. If my shoulders are staying perpendicular to my spine as I turn up here, they must stay perpendicular to my spine down here. Now if you start to see, as you either go back in the backswing, your shoulders go up, or they drop down too much, in the downswing the right shoulder fires over high, or maybe it drops under too much, what do you think the club's going to do? Well, it's going to follow, isn't it? If I'm going up this way, it's going to get out of position. If I am on the way down throwing my shoulders too level, you can see here, club's worked out. What if I get them too steep? You can see here, again, it's got it stuck under. So as a result of just not being able to turn and keep a centered head whilst moving from front bend to left bend, back to front bend into right bend, you can see how it's just completely messed up my club path, my swing direction. It's going to be so hard to control low point, and ultimately ball flight and strike are going to be compromised. So how can we take this concept and actually just simplify it down? Well, let's run through a drill that is going to massively help you, and then let's run through some sort of key trigger words that you can use. So what I have here is 2 alignment sticks. Now the reason why I prefer to use the alignment sticks rather than the golf club is because it's kind of two pointy ends right here. Obviously with a golf club, one end is a head, so it doesn't quite make it as easy to point it. Now, what I want you to do is imagine this is, let's pick a golf club, a 7-iron. I'm set up a 7-iron distance away from the ball. Now, for whatever distance my toes are away from the golf ball, I want you to place this other alignment stick the same distance the opposite side. So let's just say we're going to place that about there. So for a 7-iron distance, I'm going to place it that far. If I'm hitting, say, a pitching wedge, this is going to be a little bit closer. And if I'm a driver where I'm further away, that's going to be further away. So that's going to match it up roughly with your spine tilt. So in this position here, grab the other alignment stick and place it, mind the mic, place it on your shoulders. Bend forwards into your golf posture. Now, imagine there are two laser pointers, one pointing out of this end, one pointing out of this end. As you turn back, I want you to feel like you can trace this laser down this alignment stick right here. Now, as I do that, you can see my left side of my body is gradually going to work into left bend right there. And that is going to get me into a good position at the top of the backswing. Now, once I've done this in my backswing, you can see my head is also staying pretty centered right there. I'm not thinking about it, it's just a byproduct of moving my body correctly. Now, once I've done that, so front bend into left bend. Now, let's start down. We're going back to front bend and we're going to switch it with some right bend. And you can see now I'm getting this pointing down at that alignment stick right there as well. Again, watch my head from the front on view, staying centered, staying centered, staying centered. The reason it stays centered is because of left bend and right bend as we turn. That is absolutely crucial, and that is the fundamental part of trying to keep your head centered. Yes, it can work up and down, but lefts and rights, it's all to do with side bend. So I'm just trying to trace that alignment stick there, trace that alignment stick on the way down. As I'm doing that, I'm then going to try and find some key trigger words that are going to massively help. So one that really seems to help is left shoulder, so lead shoulder, down and around, and then in the downswing, trail shoulder, down and around. So just do that a couple times. Left shoulder down and around, trail shoulder down and around. Lead shoulder down and around, trail shoulder down and around. Now, as you can see, as I'm doing this, I'm able to get my shoulders working a lot more freely. Conversely, a second option you can do is place the alignment stick just on the back, and again, feel that same motion. Left shoulder down and around, get this tracing down that line. Lead shoulder, right shoulder down and around. Left shoulder down and around, right shoulder down and around. Now, the final thing I want you to do is just pay attention to the top of my head. At no point during my swing am I getting taller than when I started. So here's one of the other crucial concepts is, as we are turning, we want to stay roughly the same height in the backswing, but as we start to come down, it is okay to allow the head to drop down slightly. I see so many people get scared of dropping that head down in the backswing. In the downswing, sorry. But as I start to come into impact, if I want shaft lean, I have to get the right shoulder closer to the ball. I can't have that right shoulder high, otherwise the width of my arc is going to be too big and I'm going to have to throw my angle out. Now, let me grab a golf club and let me demonstrate what this looks like with that. So now I've got the golf club. Let's now do those feelings with this club right here. So as I swing back, I'm going to feel like the left shoulder works down and around. I can feel a little bit more crunch in my body right here. As I then swing back down, my right shoulder works down and around. And again, you can see, just pay attention to the top line. I'll draw a line in the edit on the top part of my head. As I turn back, pretty much staying the same height with some good shoulder tilt. As I then come down, I've actually dropped in height because my right shoulder's dropped. My left side's really started to rotate open. This is how I can get into that good shaft lean position. Again, if I now start to stand up, look at the shaft lean. You see how it has to decrease? You can also see from the downline view how that club is pulling inwards. Well, that is because I'm coming further away from the ball as I stand up. I cannot get shaft lean if I'm standing up during the downswing too early. I can obviously stand up afterwards, but before contact and as we come into impact, I've got to be able to drop this right shoulder down to create this good right bend. Now, use these key words, left shoulder, down and around, right shoulder, down and around. Now let's hit some shots. Let's start with a little 3/4 shot, nice and slow. I have a 9-iron here. Let's just do a little shot right here for you. So left shoulder down and around, right shoulder down and around. Left shoulder down and around, right shoulder down and around. And you can see as I do that, as I finish, if I do a little swing again, you can see as I finish, I'm actually finishing with some tilt to my shoulders. You can see some curvature to the right side of my body. And again, this is just crucial. If I am standing tall, I'm turning perpendicular to my spine. If I bend forwards, I'm still turning perpendicular to my spine angle. So there you have it. That is my attempt of actually trying to simplify down the golf swing. And it really does make a lot of sense. We're just trying to turn our shoulders perpendicular to the spine. But obviously in golf, we are tilted forwards because the ball's on the ground. If you want to keep your head centered, if you want to have an on-plane swing, you've got to do this. This is an absolute must-do. And hey, Tom Watson was a pretty awesome golfer. He's got a great track record. And if he said that it's the one thing that he would go and do if he started his career again, I think we've got to take notes. Anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe. And if you need a little bit more one-to-one help with your own game, I offer online coaching, so you can have a lesson with myself no matter where you are in the world. It's all done on the Skillist platform, so click the link down below. All the details are down there. But like I said, if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.